Hey, what's up guys? In this video, we're gonna talk about a concept called time value of money. Now this one concept completely changed my life. It changed the way I looked at money. And once I learned this, it truly was the moment for me, guys. As an entrepreneur, I had a lot of raw natural talent. I always had a passion towards making money. I was always real passionate towards finance, but I didn't really understand the possibilities, I guess, of being able to make a living and make a significant amount of money without having to work a job where you get paid a significant amount of money. Sunday, stop. Look at her, guys. She's making another appearance on the YouTube channel. But I'll tell you the story real quick of when I learned about personal finance. It's pretty crazy timing. I don't know if some of you guys, might be religious, might not be, but I feel like, man, this is hard to deny the timing of this, that there wasn't some higher powers, kind of helping control what was going on. So when I was 22 years old, I recorded a reality TV show as a contestant on a reality TV show called Stranded with $1 Million. I ended up doing really well on the show. I won $124,000, but I wasn't going to get paid that $124,000 until the last episode aired, which wasn't until like a year later. So there was a whole year of my life between 22 and 23 where I knew I was going to receive $124,000 and money was taken out after taxes. But the point is, I knew a massive payday was coming. And before this, the most I'd ever had in my bank account at one time was like $5,000 or something like that. I really was on a path towards getting my finance degree or accounting and getting a job within business and just working full time. Now, I was taking a finance class that I had actually failed, which is pretty insane to think about. When now my life kind of revolves around personal finance, right? But I failed this entry-level finance class and then I had to retake it, and I'm very, very fortunate that I did. It was one of the few classes that I've ever failed in my entire life in school. And I was retaking the class with a much better professor. I would say probably the only professor that I left college when I dropped out with respect for. Hey, Sunday. Stop. You gotta stop. You gotta stop, baby. Sorry, guys. I'm sorry. But it throws me off probably more than you guys even with my cat meowing. But she does want to go outside. Anyways, he taught me of personal finance. And once I learned about personal finance, I was like, wow, this is possible. This is amazing. Like, knowing this helps me not just make decisions using my gut feeling or my instinct, which is also important to do as an entrepreneur and as an investor. But now I can put some math behind these decisions. I can take my emotion out of it completely, which in my opinion is extremely important, because money has no emotion, guys. And I say that all the time. Money has no emotion, so you don't want to be emotional when you're making decisions regarding money. You want to be completely mathematical, and you want to look at the numbers, and you want to do what's best in the long run. So time value of money allows us to calculate things out and make the best decisions for ourselves. So I'll give you guys a little situation that kind of shows what time value of money is. Let's say that I owe you $100. Let's say you mowed my lawn and I owe you $100. And I'm like, hey, I can't pay you today. I'll pay you in 3 weeks. How are you gonna feel? If you did something for me, I owe you $100, and I'm saying, hey, I'll pay you in 3 weeks. Well, if I was owed $100, I would want it right then and there. Like, that's not fair. Like, I did this for you, you owe me $100. Some of you guys know the reason why, some of you don't. The reason why is because money is a tool, and with money you can make more money. As I've shown in my TikToks, as I've shown on my old YouTube channel, and as I will show on future videos, if you have that $100, you can turn that into $200 potentially. So the value of having money right now is $100 today is more valuable than $100 tomorrow will be. That's kind of just a saying. Really what it means is $100 today is significantly more valuable than $100 10 years from now. But if you're going to get $100, you want it today over having it to tomorrow. I don't know why I was saying it like that. But the reason why is because you can use that money to do things, whether it's buy something for yourself or it's invest it and turn it into more money. A realistic example of how having that $100 now can help you is, what if you go to Adidas and you see a pair of shoes on the clearance rack for $40 that you can resell for $100? Well, if you don't have that $100 until 3 weeks, those shoes might be sold out and they might be gone by the time you finally get paid your money. So that's just one example of why it's important to have money now versus later. So, cool little practice question, just to kind of experiment and see where you're at, is if I asked you, would you rather have $100,000 today, or would you rather have $1 million 5 years from now? What would you say and why? And there's no right or wrong answer, but it's an interesting question, right? Because I'm saying, hey, if you hold off 5 years, I'll give you 10 times as much money. But some of you guys are saying, hey, I have no money, and if I had 100,000, I actually can make a couple million over the next 5 years. People that really know how to invest and know how to maybe start a business or know how to really let that money work well for them. Now, some people, like my parents, who I'll use my parents as examples throughout this YouTube channel. They're both full-time employees. Nothing wrong with that. Their combined income's over like $200,000. I don't know the exact numbers, but they're successful employees. They would be way better off taking the $1 million in 5 years, because my parents don't have the ability, they don't have that entrepreneur mindset to turn the 100,000 into something greater than $1 million over 5 years. So they'd be better off just waiting and get that $1 million payday 5 years from now. But depending on how you answered that question, you know, it's the money today, the $100,000 today is worth a different amount to you, right? I honestly don't know what I would choose. I might actually, $1 million I might wait 5 years for, but let's say it's 500,000 in 5 years. Then you have to really think, can you turn 100,000 into 500? Anyways, you guys get it. We could throw out 1,000 scenarios for you. Now, the bottom line is the time value of money, like what the real value is the S&P 500, which is just index funds in the stock market, which index funds are just a combination of a ton of different stocks that neutralize risk and also limit your ability to grow the money, but limit risk, limit reward. So it's a pretty safe bet. If you put $100,000 in the S&P 500, historically, it'll return around 9% each year. So if you put 100,000 in this year, it'll turn into 109,000 the next year. And that's a pretty safe way to invest. Now for me right now, I can do better than 9% reselling shoes. So I put most of my money into reselling shoes. But if I didn't know how to resell shoes, or I lived somewhere where I couldn't resell shoes, you know, a really, really good way to grow your funds and to invest is that S&P 500. Now, the real value here is the value of compounding interest. Compounding interest is basically the fact that if I put that 100,000 in, it'll turn into 109,000. Now the next year, when it gains 9%, it's going to be more than 9,000 because I'm getting 9% on that original 100,000 plus the 9,000 I gained the first year. When you repeat this process, you'll actually start, you know, it'll be ridiculous, the value of compounding interest over 40 years. I'll calculate it. I can't calculate it because I'm recording on my phone. But if I were to calculate it out, basically, if you put in like a couple $100 every single month into the S&P 500, starting when you're 18 to 28, and then you never invest again, you'll have a couple $1 million when you're at retirement age, which is just insane. Just a couple $100 a month, like that is insane, guys. That is the value of compounding interest. Now it's tough because people are so short-minded, they want instant gratification. So it's hard for people to do this. And I'll make another video on how to get started investing, maybe review the Vanguard website that I invest with. I invest with Vanguard. Once I realized this though, I was like, holy crap. So my $124,000 from the TV show I won, after taxes, say it's like $85,000 or so. If I put that $85,000 into mutual funds when I'm 23 years old, forget about it, come back when I'm 50, that's gonna be millions of dollars for me. And if I come back when I'm 60 or 65, that could be $5 million for me right there. I will never have to stress about retirement. All I have to do is put that money there, forget about it, and I'll be really, well off a long time from now. Now, I took a much more aggressive approach. I used some of it to purchase a house. I used a lot of it to invest in shoes. I also invested in the Tesla stock specifically, so no mutual funds. But when I first learned about the time value of money, and we'll throw compounding interest in there, those two things, it just changed my life, guys, because now I realize, holy crap, to retire comfortably to where you don't have to lift a finger, which most people, they consider that retirement, where you don't have to work at all anymore, period. You potentially could just say, okay, if I get $10 million in S&P 500, that means every year, if it appreciates at 9%, I could have that 10 million, and 9% of 10 million is going to be 900,000. So I would make 900,000 a year, and then in theory you could take that 900,000, pocket it, and then every year that 10 million would make you on average 900,000. Now, for some people, they might only need to live off of $100,000 when they're retirement age. So then maybe they only need 1.1 million in these index funds. But if you get enough money in there, if you pump several $1,000,000 into mutual funds, into the stock market, just invest in the S&P 500, you actually can live off of the interest, off of the profit that you make each year on that return on investment. Now, it's probably more wise to not pull out all of your profit, because then you take away the value of compounding interest. But just knowing, okay, I just need to hit it big, I just need to have a successful business, or I just need to, aggressively run up my numbers on shoe resale and just pump money into the stock market. And then once I get a couple $1,000,000 in there, I actually can just not work at all, not even resell shoes, not do anything, just live off of the interest. That's a pretty amazing thing. And that is part of a lot of wise investors' investment strategy. Now, time value of money, bottom line, to summarize this, $1 today is worth more than $1 tomorrow, or $1 will ever be worth in the future, because $1 today, you can use it as a tool to invest and to make more money. So whenever you're asking yourself, is this a good investment or not, I always ask myself, can this return more than 10% yearly? Because if it can't, I can just put that money in mutual funds in the stock market. And then even if the investment will land a 5% return yearly, probably not the best way to invest, because anybody can just invest in the stock market. So I hope that this video helped you guys. I touched on time value of money. I talked a lot about time value of money. I touched on the value of compounding interest. If you guys have any questions at all about anything I covered in this video or anything else, or have a video suggestion for a future video, just comment it below. I'll respond to all comments. Thank you guys for watching this video, and have a great day.